Afternoon YouTube. It's test ride Thursday. What are we on? Well, if my camera's pointing in the right direction now, which is slightly less at the sky and slightly more at the road, some of you might be able to tell. We're on a Triumph. It's Tiger 800 XCX in blue. So I've been on it about 30 minutes now, something like that, and I'm going to pull over in a minute. I'll just do a quick walk around with the bike. And I'll probably offer some thoughts then rather than now. We're stuck in a bit of traffic on the 134, and I think there's so much coming the bloody way, trucks and stuff. Because I'm going to pull over in a second anyway, I ain't going to bother trying to black past, although certain the bike will do it. It's got a very smooth gearbox. That's one thing I can tell you. Oh, the temptation, look at this. But we can't, because it's a restricted byway, unfortunately. So I'll just turn it round and park up here. Yeah, so there we go. We'll turn it off. That side stand don't come out as far as the old Explorer. So anyway, I'll keep you on the centre rather than doing a phone footage of it. So yeah, Tiger XCX 800 in blue. Obviously XCX meaning it's got the 21-inch front wheel. Sure what the back is. 17, is it? Oh, it's a 17. Both spoked. It's a more off-roady model. I wanted to take this out after taking the old Africa Twin the other week. To be honest, today I was going to go to take out the new KTM Adventure, the 1090 Adventure. However, when I phoned up to try and sort it out, I wasn't met with a particularly enthusiastic response from the dealer in question, who I'm not going to name at this point in time, but those of you who know Norfolk can probably figure it out. So I'm not going to take one from them. I'm going to take a KTM out, but I'm going to ride somewhere else who seem to be hopefully more interested in selling motorbikes, because the response from the person I spoke to this morning certainly didn't give me that impression. They weren't helpful at all. Anyway, back to the Tiger. Yeah, so about half an hour now, and it's not long enough to get a good idea about it, to be fair. It's certainly light, it's nimble. When you open it up, it's enthusiastic. It's certainly, the engine's certainly perky, but it needs revving. The riding position for me doesn't feel as nice as the Explorer straight away. I don't know if the seat on this is on the lower setting or not. It might well be. I think looking at that it could be. Let's see if it's the same as oh, it might be the same as my Explorer. We'll see if we can adjust that, because my knees felt a bit scrunched. It certainly didn't feel, it don't feel as nice as mine, and it don't feel as nice as the Africa Twin I took out. Yeah, look here, so some short arse has been on it, hasn't there? We'll change that, might be a bit better. He says, just make sure we've got it on right. There we go. Ta-da! See, it's a maintenance video at the same time as a test ride. I don't call this a review. I can't review this bike in the space of an hour. It's impossible. All these videos on YouTube saying XYZ bike review, and they're on it for like half an hour. Fuck off. That's not a review. How can you review it as a test ride and your impressions? Call it what it is. Anyway, yeah, we'll see if that riding position is better. It looks nicer already. Engine wise, I've got enough poke there for overtakes and stuff like that. One thing I don't like, and this is just my personal opinion, and I've heard it on other videos that I've seen on YouTube with the Tiger 800s, they're just really whistly. That little, like, sort of whistly whine from the transmission. I'm getting a ton of wind noise because this screen's quite short compared to mine, which I've now, obviously it's a bigger screen anyway, it's a bigger bike and the screen's adjusted upwards, so I'm getting a lot less wind noise on mine. It's just a quirk of this bike at the minute. Obviously you can customise it and change things to cut down on that a little bit, but what I've noticed is once you get up above 50 mile an hour, it's not massively breezy today, there's a bit but not much. Once you get above 50 mile an hour, the wind noise is horrendous for me, for my riding position, and I can't hear the engine. I can hardly hear the exhaust note even when it goes towards a red line. Whether an aftermarket exhaust would solve that, I know Triumph can do the RO1s and there's loads out there. This is obviously the standard can, so with an aftermarket can it might sound nicer, I think. So we'll get back on anyway and keep going. And one thing it has obviously got over the Africa Twin is centre stand as standard. Oh, you see that now? That feels better already. And I haven't I'm just stood on it. I can still get 2 feet on the floor, so it's not too bad. Not as in tall for small people. But that immediately feels better to me. I'm 6'1", so there's not many bikes that I can't touch the floor on. God, I'd love to go down that fire ride. I was having a look today and just seeing if I could find any open byways, so those that aren't restricted. Just, I don't want to go off-roading on it properly, but just to get a little bit of feel for it. But there aren't any nearby, so I shan't be. Now, straight away, riding position, miles better. Screen's too low, I think, for me. I'd have to do something about that. Hopefully it won't be too bad on the camera. I've made a couple of mods to the centre and covered up the external microphone actually on the unit to hopefully cut down some of the wind noise. And one other thing that I am going to have to play about with is the microphone position in the helmet, because I noticed on the Africa Twin video that there's a lot of rustling as I was speaking in the helmet, and that's because I've got a big badass beard at the minute. I think it's catching on bloody microphone, so I'm going to either have to get some beard rings and plait my beard, or shave it, or move the microphone. So right, anyway, we've got about half an hour left on bike, so I'll keep this running for a bit, and I might edit it down a bit if I can when I get it on YouTube. You see, it's got some nice power. Certainly when you give it a little bit of revs. Whilst I'm just going to keep the speed down a little bit whilst I'm talking, because otherwise I'm going to end up shouting, and it'll be really unpleasant. But yeah, that riding position feels a lot better now I've moved the seat height. For me, my legs don't feel scrunched up. The seat still feels a lot smaller because it is than the Tiger Explorer. That's not a drama, it's something you get used to. I have to say, it doesn't feel as nice to me as the Africa Twin did. And I never thought I'd say it, but the Africa Twin's got more character. A Honda has got more character than Triumph. That is something I never thought I'd say, but it has. That twin cylinder with the 270-degree crank, it just sounds bloody lovely to me, even with a standard can. And I think you listen to some videos like the Crumble, he's got a Remus on his, and I think, you know, people put other pipes on theirs and they just sound really nice. I like that burble from the Twin and the deep sort of rumble. I'm sure this Tiger would sound nicer if you put an Arrow can on it and took the baffle out or something. But even with, one thing I can compare it with is my Explorer. When I got it, it had got a standard can on, and I didn't get this horrible whistling noise. I'm sure a lot of people don't mind it, and it's just part of the bike, but I don't like it. Sorry, Triumph. Here we go. So it picks up nice. Standing position, yeah. I'm stood up on a motorbike on a road. What can you tell from that? I can grip the tank fairly well, just in front of where the seat ends with my knees. That's not too bad. I'm sure it'd do very well on some green lanes and what have you, with the right tyres on. But it's got road tyres on at the minute anyway. I think if you stuck some Contis on it, the TKC80 or whatever they are, I think it'd do quite well. Throttle response is decent, the clutch is light, the gear change is smooth as hell. It's smoother than my Explorer, certainly. I can't really compare it with the Africa Twin because I rode the DCT version. I'm in 5th gear now and roll on power from 50 mile an hour. Yeah, that's fine. It's a nice bike. Oh, bums. It's a 40 limit through here, but they're a nice little set of bends if you get them clear. Which I've not now. Never mind. I mean, if somebody said to me, Paul, you're allowed a motorbike, but it's got to be a Tiger 800, I wouldn't be heartbroken. You know, it's a nice bike, and I think again, like the Africa Twin, and with a little bit more time on it to get used to it and customise it and put a few bits and bobs on it yourself and whatnot, then you make it your own, don't you? It certainly, considering it's still got a 21-inch front wheel, it tips in alright. if I duck my head a little bit and look like a teenager on a moped, it seems to quieten the noise down a bit, so I think it could definitely be remedied with a different screen. It's something I need to do. I don't mind a bit of wind noise. We're on motorbikes, aren't we? But I don't want to go deaf. And it's just so... The wind noise on this at the minute, I mean, we're only doing 57, 58 mile an hour, and the wind noise is so intrusive. I can just about hear the whistle of the engine, but nothing more. Drop it down a couple. Yeah, I don't know if the camera's going to pick the engine noise up from that. I did, only just. I should imagine the Tiger 800 XRs, like the XRT and what have you, with the 19-inch front wheel instead of the 21. I would think that they're really good fun on the road. Because this is nice enough. But I should think that they really handle quite well on the road. But the other reason that I want something more off-road oriented, I'm not going to be going green laning all the time, stuff like that, but it would be nice if I see somewhere and think, oh, where's that go, that I can go and do it if I want. And certainly for Morocco next year, it'd be nice to have something that's going to handle the rougher stuff that we go on. I think probably about 70% of the trip's going to be on roads. So I'm just going to stop here again for a second because I want to turn round in a minute when there's no cars coming, and plus it'll give me an idea of manoeuvring this thing about. Yeah, it's so much easier than the Explorer. Oh, bloody hell. That's miles easier. Just paddling it back, even sat on the bike. I couldn't have done that on the Explorer. There's just no way. There's some nice bends down here, so we'll see what it's like through them. We'll just take it steady down to the bottom so we can leave a little gap. So coming to the end of the test ride now. That's turned into quite a long video really. Probably longer than I wanted to do. I mean, with 50 mile an hour straight away, the wind noise is pretty horrendous. I don't know if you're getting this through the camera. We'll see later on the video. But good God, that's loud. Really, really loud. See if we can give them a chance to clear these bends a little bit. set the fuel light off. I'll tell you what, it does feel nice through them bends, and I wasn't really going daft because obviously it's not my bike. Never really liked to rag test rides, even though to a degree that's what it's for. Because at some point somebody's going to buy this. Dearie me. It ain't got that popping noise of mine when I shut off the throttle. That's one thing it ain't got, and mine did that even with the standard pipe on it. They've obviously got the fuel in right. So anyway, we're coming back in towards Watton now. I'm gonna call it a day for footage wise. We've got some slow speed stuff and a little walk round of the bike. It's not a review, it's just my thoughts on it. It's a nice bike. It does pull well. It handles nice. Now I've got the seat on the higher position. The seating position feels alright. But I'm not sure I'd have one. And I think saying I'm not sure that I'd have one means that I probably wouldn't. So once we get through these lights, I'll turn the camera off. So that's my little test ride of the Tiger 800 anyway, Tiger 800 XCX. It's a tidy bike, it's nice, I'm sure lots of people love them. Whether it's a case of the fact that I'm coming from an Explorer to one of these, and there's some things that I like about the Explorer that this doesn't have, or whether it's because I've ridden the Africa Twin and that's, to me, seems a little bit more characterful sound wise really. It's not that this doesn't pull, it's just the sound of it I think. But anyway, it's not made an impression on me that makes me want to go out and buy one. Good though it is, and it's got nice balance. I'm pootling along here at sort of walking pace and having no real wobbles, holding the bike up. Nice easy clutch. But yeah, I think given the price as well, I think the Africa Twin's quite competitive, and it's unless something like the F800 GS Adventure or the KTM 1090 blow the Africa Twin into the weeds, then as and when I do change, it's going to be the Africa Twin. But there you go. We'll see. Things could change. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hope it makes sense. Barnsley Bob. See you later.